Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Very exciting news here today. Effort is back playing StarCraft. It's been, I think, over a year since we've seen him active, but he is back on the ladder practicing, and I have a bunch of his games that we're going to be going over. Very, very exciting stuff. If you don't know who Effort is, at the peak of Brood War, you know, right before like it switched over to kind of StarCraft 2 taking over and kind of destroying the scene a bit, Effort was kind of slated as the next best Zerg in the world. In fact, some people thought he had already passed Jaedong there by the end. And in fact, Effort has a really impressive resume. He won the OSL over Flash. He won the Vant Star League, which was the league right before ASL started. It was like the prequel to it. He beat Bisu in that finals. That was actually something that was one of our first Brood War casts, like after Remaster came out. Or wait, I think that was that right after Remastered? I think so. Anyways, whatever. And then he also, you know what? I think that was right before Remaster came out. But anyways, I'm like having a hard time remembering back to then exactly. And he also won ASL over Flash. I think probably the most impressive thing about Effort is he is the only player in the world who has a winning record in best of fives over Flash. He seems to be Flash's kryptonite. He's like the only guy that can do it. And you know, he's such a strong player. It's really, really exciting to see him back. I think he's one of the most talented players that there's ever been. He's just like, his strength has been so high for so long. And, you know, even as recently, I believe it was season 16 of ASL, he even made top 4 when he wasn't even really that active, but he's back playing, and hopefully we're going to see him do something big. He's the type of player, like, you put this guy against Soul King, like, yeah, he's gonna crush. Effort's micro, certainly second to none. And I think strategically, he's just super, super high up. Like, if you watch, the reason why he's beaten Flash so many times in best of fives comes down a lot to his planning. Just a very smart player, kind of leans more towards aggression than some of our other top Zergs currently. But yeah, there's Effort for you. It's very, very exciting to have him back and playing. Oh, and I want to add one more thing. One of my favorite games ever played in StarCraft 2 was Effort's game. People are like, oh, he wasn't that good at StarCraft 2. He actually played a god tier ZVT. I believe it was against Maru, if I recall. It was one of the games that I really regret not being able to cast. I believe it was in Pro League. It was way far back, but it was a masterclass. An absolute masterclass. Look at this micro. An absolute masterclass in strategy. Anyways, enough of that. I know that's not what you're here for. We're going to watch Effort go up against Quickly here, and you can see already he's like running 2 lings around so annoyingly. You know, he's such a fast player, so not too surprised to see that. Quickly, of course, you know, I've sometimes joked he's kind of like the punching bag to the pros. He's one of these guys that's like not quite in ASL, but plays against pros all the time. So we get a lot of games of him losing to them, but he Quickly is insanely good. You know, I feel like I have to point that out every time that I cast him at this point. Poor Quickly and Air Foyu, man. They're like these really strong players that will probably eventually be in ASL, but right now, not quite there. So anyways, we're on Polypoid, they're cross-spawn, and you see just a little bit of Zergling pressure coming from Effort. He actually gets by this wall-in with 5 Zerglings, losing nothing so far. So that is pretty damn strong. That's pretty damn scary. And doesn't quite get that one, but let's go up and look. See if he's going to be able to get any probes up here. These 5 lings are actually pretty darn high on health, and he's got Zergling speed on the way. So already this is pretty bad. I wouldn't mind to see a cannon go down for Quickly here. He does have the 2 zealots that he's trying to micro around near these probes, and in fact, yeah, brings that to a nice position so it can't really get surrounded. Getting that Cybernex core as part of the wall-in. I like that he has the forge up in the main, although, you know, we've seen the retracted forge positions at the front really often lately. And by the way, there is a zealot over here that did slip into, you know, this little hole in the mineral patches, but effort deals with that very, very quickly, so it doesn't look like that really does any damage. And now Zergling's speed is done, so this is where the Zerglings might actually start picking up some more damage. He does go after the zealot. You know, if you can kill a zealot, obviously that's going to be really, really nice. Probes would be the best kills, but that's a pretty strong, solid kill there for those Zerglings that he got in earlier. Now, going to draw this zealot out. And, yeah, not sure how much more he'll end up getting done. Some zealots are walking across the map right now. He's just trying to force effort into making a few more units. He actually only has 6 lings at the moment, so this could be a little bit problematic to deal with. In the meantime, these 2 lings still running around over here, seeing what they can get done damage-wise. 2 zealots go up into this 3rd base, so quickly putting some pressure on against these drones. Going to run them into some mineral patches here, so make it a little bit harder. This is a little bit wider than really what you want, so that one's going to be dealt with pretty quickly. And this one back here, this is kind of funny. The drone actually mined behind that zealot and didn't get hit. And finally, the lings in the main base are cleaned up. And quickly we'll lose that last zealot. Okay. So we have a more stable position now. They've both cleaned up the harassment, the pressure that they were putting onto each other. Let's take a look where we're at strategically in this game. Spire is on the way for effort. There's the 4th hatch. There's the 5th hatch. So 5 hatch right now. He'll probably go up to 6. And as far as quickly goes, you know, he has a Corsair coming out. He's actually getting zealot legs very, very quickly and adding another couple gates. And with this scout, he'll see the Spire and probably go back into Corsair production, although we've seen some different plays where he hasn't gone heavy into Corsairs. And in fact, that's kind of been Quickly's style lately, if I'm recalling correctly. Okay, I saw a lot of comments on it too. There was an Eclipse game that Quickly played recently where he just went like kind of upgrade heavy, Corsair light, and played a pretty passive game. I think I'm remembering this correctly. And who was it against? Maybe against Queen, if I'm recalling. This was, I want to say that this was maybe a week, but it was within the last 2 weeks on the channel. So you guys might remember that one. But yeah, it was actually quite an interesting game. I thought it was like a very different style than what we normally see. So let's see if Quickly does something like that here. You know, he's really focusing on getting the +1 and the zealot legs. He is about to have legs, and he did just get +1. So actually has some real potential for these 4 zealots for a little bit of pressure. Gonna bring them in and actually go after the evolution chamber right away. You know, this Sim City is pretty hard to deal with, so I actually don't mind him just chunking out the evolution chamber. Preventing +1 is quite a nice move, and actually rotates the hurt zealot around, and we'll be able to kill that. These zealots probably won't end up making out, but you know what? You kill a Hydra and stop +1 ranged weapons for 4 zealots. Well, not even exactly 4, but you know, those 2 are not super useful anymore. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty solid. Now, 4 Corsairs are out. Flies into a couple Scourge there, unfortunately. But yeah, this is actually really reminding me of that Eclipse game where he's lighter on these Corsairs. Obviously, we do have Hydras being made. And maybe if he doesn't scout the Hydras over there with the Zealots, he makes some more Corsairs. But right now, just a little bit light on those Corsairs, not really focusing on them as much, but instead getting into his Psystorm and everything. And, you know, adding a few cannons here, obviously, getting his gateways going, continuing his plus armor upgrade. Everything looking completely fine. I wonder if Quickly will try any attacks, or is he just going to try to expand a whole bunch and get up to a really, really strong mid to late game army? Because that's, again, something that we have seen recently. So the Speed Zealot's going to come out and force these Hydras back. Effort going to pull back these Hydras pretty quickly. He has massed up quite a few. He is getting that +1 once again in the exact same location. Another macro hatchery coming up as well. There's the 3rd gas. And here is the 4th base, which is, I think, for Polypoid, a very good way to play. You kind of SimCity this up, and then you base your defense here. And this defense here will block everything else. So you have, like, the ramps helping with a good SimCity up here, and then you have Lurkers and Hydras up here, and it's really hard for Protos to ever attack you on Polypoid into those positions. How many games have we seen lost with Protoss charging uphill on the 3rd base? It is such a hard place to attack. You know, with all those missed shots and everything. Not a whole lot that you can get done there. Now, the Zealots are actually shifting over in this direction. Looks like pressure for that third base, and he's going to set up the Nexus during this time. So kind of cool to see. You know, this is a stylistic thing. Do you try to take on Polypoid the gas base, or do you take the mineral base first? Like, for instance, Snow always takes the mineral base, then goes right into the gas base. But definitely we see a fair amount of Protoss that do try to get away with taking that gas base first. But a Zergling finds it very quickly, so this might be hard to hold. He's got Zealots running around. The Hydra's chasing him down pretty well. The High Templars have come out. Now, he has to be careful. If he ends up losing these High Templars, that's going to be, you know, possibly as bad as game over if he gets heavily out-microed. But a nice first Psystorm goes down, kind of pushes everything back. He is going to see that a lot of Lurkers are being morphed. And yeah, you can actually kill the eggs with a couple Psystorms. So he will force the cancel. So that was a... You know, obviously you're going to cancel those out if they're not going to be able to be made, and gets those 4 Hydras. So I would say totally worth. A lot of Dragoons being made. Observatory on the way, so going to be able to see those Lurkers as they come out. And here's the Hydra attack onto this third. So this is why it's really hard to take this third. You're so out of position. Effort actually takes out the pylon first, and I don't think it'll actually end up mattering. I think he'll get the Nexus as well. Yeah, he makes a Lurker egg on that ramp. And nothing you can really do. So quickly actually getting super mega punished. The Nexus dying just as it was finished, right? Like that was terrible. Like to lose that when it's just getting to its full health. He should be mining from a third base right now, and he would have if it was this one. So maybe a little bit too greedy trying to take that mineral or that gas space. Now, Effort coming up with a big attack, but actually quickly has more than enough to clear this. The only thing missing is that Observer, but that Observer will be out pretty quick. So he's going to pull back from this area while he pushes the Hydras back. The other Hydras from that 12 o'clock area going to come back down as well, maybe help out a little bit in a very small flank, but a great Psystorm there from quickly. And as that Observer comes out, he will be able to clear these 3 leftover Lurkers. Okay, we're getting to a different phase of the game now. I would definitely look at those earlier portions and say, okay, Effort came out on top a bit from having, you know, from getting the kill on this 12 o'clock base. You know, that just makes it really late. Taking the mineral base as your third, and the mineral base obviously not quite as strong. You're really going to have to dump every piece of gas you have into getting your High Templar count up, and that's going to be a problem. And in fact, he doesn't have a storm right now. He's about to have a storm, and he really needs that storm. There you go. It's a pretty good storm, and there are a lot of Dragoons, but Effort is actually going for a kill move right now. Like, he is deleting a lot of Dragoons. It seems like there's just barely enough Dragoons here. It's very hard to fight with just Dragoons. Just Dragoons loses to basically everything until you get, like, this insane critical mass where they pummel everything. And here, okay, as I say that, I recognize that people be like, well, that's every unit, Artosis. No, what I'm talking about isn't every unit. Maybe I'm not being eloquent enough in the way I'm describing it, but, like, Dragoons just don't fight well alone at all against Zerg. Like, every Zerg unit beats Dragoons. But occasionally you get into these weird scenarios where Zerg has traded incorrectly a few times and you have a really large amount of Dragoons, so they're just the range and consistency of damage output will allow you to win fights sometimes. But, like, just in general, we see a lot of games lost because you're fighting with just the Dragoons. You need Zealots there. You need Psystorm there. Okay, so anyways, this fourth base now being taken at the mineral, and Effort's going to get up here immediately and try to pick this off, but it seems like there's enough units this time to just kind of stop it. He does morph some Lurker eggs. You can see that great Effort micro coming in, but I don't think that's going to be quite enough. He just doesn't have a large enough army here. He picks off the Archon, but realistically, that was pretty cost inefficient. I didn't like that attack so much from Effort. So yeah, Effort lost quite a bit there. Let's take a look. He is going up to Hive. He's got triple evolution chamber, so he's going to be getting into those melee upgrades as well, although we don't see that right now. Getting his +2 attack, or range attack rather, and +2 carapace. And Effort, once again, just really loving utilizing these Lurker eggs. Morphing, in fact, a ton of Lurkers up here to try to take this as his 5th base location. And it is pretty close to this base, which is kind of interesting. With this layout, I'm actually a little bit surprised. I almost felt like he should expand there, but maybe he wants to expand here just to keep the game simple, which is an underrated thing that I've been talking about with Tasteless quite a bit. And I'll talk about that in a second, because right now we actually have these zerglings coming up. And it looks like he wanted to maybe try to attack in there, but good defense from quickly. A couple zealots, some cannons coming in. A lot of dragoons trying to go up towards this top left location. And in fact, some more lings, you can see just effort, very good with his multitasking, sending units everywhere. And in fact, will knock that down almost immediately. By the way, quickly's already got +2 armor. And +1 attack with +2 on the way, and going into plasma shields. So going into plasma shields here as opposed to an additional armor upgrade is pretty good, even financially, even though plasma shield upgrades are more expensive. They're less expensive than +3 armor. Give similar value, not quite as good, because generally Protoss units have more health than they have armor or shields. But it's very good for optimal forge usage if you don't want to get a third forge. If you think the game might go long, that's a really efficient way to utilize forges, is to go into plasma shields after you get +2 of something. Okay, so effort is actually going to power that Nexus down so quickly. You know, the Adrenal upgrade just absolutely insane on Zerglings. In the meantime, quickly trying to push into top left. Kind of a insane, chaotic game. He's going to instantly restart that Nexus too, which makes sense. A lot of Zerglings coming up here. He's not going to be able to break through those Lurkers quite in time with these Zerglings coming up, so that is a bit of a problem. In fact, effort trying to focus down on getting rid of these High Templars, but more units coming in. I guess he will lose the Templars, but a lot of units. Nidus is here, and look at the amount of lings coming out. You can definitely see Effort's style shining through. Look at the amount of Zerglings he's utilizing, you know, relatively early in the game. I know that he does have Hive now, but I think he's done a very good job getting up that. Ooh, that was an insanely good Psystorm. But just non-stop lings coming up, and don't forget, he's making an arc of Lurkers during all of this as well. Crazy action in this game. And quickly so badly wants to break this, but that is not something you want to attack up. Okay, I want to talk just for a second while this slows down about simplifying the game by taking this base. Because if you look at this, so this is kind of the crucial base for quickly. This is a great defensive location. And this is the crucial base for effort, is keeping this base up. So once you take this base as opposed to bottom right, if you take bottom right, there might be attacks all over the place. By taking this base, you're going to centralize the game in this general square, okay? It's going to be like, okay, is Protoss going to be attacking up here? Okay, you're going to come up and block, and this is an area he needs to keep defended. So this general area becomes incredibly important by expanding here. So that's probably where we'll see most of the action. Well, it's where we've seen most of the action since that occurred. We see that quickly he's actually expanding down here, and effort sees it. So as he expands in this direction, we can see obviously a lot more attacks coming over here, but still the most important part of the map is right there. And you can see he's moved over here with Defiler and some Lurkers and Lings. And in fact, Darkstorm in the center, getting some plagues off immediately. Lings coming in and trying to snipe some High Templars. I tell you, that it's really cool to see effort trying to snipe High Templars more regularly with Lings than with Mutas, which has been so meta lately. Now, up comes this army. There's a Darkstorm over the Lurkers. Throws down a Psystorm there. And by the way, +2 plasma shields on the way, as well as +3 ground weapons. So, yeah, he's really efficiently using those forges. This is like quickly's style right now in PvZ. It is interesting to see, like, he's so upgrade intensive. I think this is a better game actually from him than the game that we saw on Eclipse. He's much more active in this game, but still very similar ideas, where he's just really working on getting highest quality army possible with these upgrades. I really kind of like it. It's very cool. Now, anyways, you know, we had a little bit of attack up there from effort, and then he swings it over and sends Lurker Ling to this location. We have a Defiler coming up as well. That was a really good Psystorm. Unfortunately for quickly, it looks like there's more than enough here to cancel out this Nexus. He starts sending his army down, but realistically, I feel like this army might want to do something else because he can't get here in time to save anything. I guess clearing the army out could be good, but it feels like he needs a slightly better move than clearing this army out. I don't know that that move exists, so let's take a look. You know, it's always hard to attack up here, but there's not actually that many Lurkers. There are a couple Sunkens, though. This is too far. It's too deep in there. You're not going to be able to attack that. And this, he's been defending perfectly and has the Nidus. So, yeah, it's not like there's a lot of great attack areas here for Quickly right now. Some more lings coming out. This is one of the ways that Effort really pulls his opponents apart, sending his lings absolutely everywhere. Does a great job getting up here. Don't forget, these things are almost free. Like, zerglings are so cheap. So to send a group up there, yeah, he didn't kill that much, but even getting rid of a couple cannons, getting the others low, and getting rid of a couple Psystorms, I mean, they basically paid for themselves. And they weaken the position. He might be able to hit that again later. Now, more lings coming in the side. You can see just how quickly they're going to knock things down. You know, the Adrenal upgrade, +1 melee. He is getting +2. That's almost done at the moment as well. Just a crazy game right now. Lots of action all over the place. But it does feel like Effort is maybe starting to pull away a little bit. You can see his supply really catching up too quickly. Quickly has some very good things going on for himself, though. You know, he's done just a ridiculously fantastic job on upgrades. He's about to be 322, which is really, really cool. You rarely see that type of upgrade in a PvZ or in any matchup. Like, people just skip plasma shields off. But plasma shields are good. Don't forget they go on the buildings as well. Like, that is a useful upgrade. That will provide you with, you know, just more time on your buildings, keeping your units alive a little bit longer. It is, you know, a very good upgrade. It's just the plasma upgrades are so expensive, and again, having less shields than health just makes them generally a little bit worse. I think they're more expensive because they also go on buildings, and it goes across onto your air units as well, don't forget, right? Whereas other upgrades for other races are like, okay, it's either air or ground. And in fact, in like Terran's case, you know, it's okay, it's mech or bio or air. Okay, so some Darkstorms coming up, but he's already got Reavers. Another attack here, but Quickly was good enough to remake a lot of cannons. So he actually blocks this pretty well. Maybe one Psystorm too many. I would like to see his rally maybe up here as opposed to here. I don't know if that would be something that Effort would try to abuse. By the way, he's trying to set this up. Look at the amount of Zealots and Archons he left up here. Okay, so he's actually... I actually just got some light chills from this. This makes so much sense. The attacks that we're seeing from Effort are so Zergling-centric. We're just seeing, like, look at the production tab at any time. You can see he's making tons and tons of Zerglings, which, as you get these upgrades, the Zergling is basically the best unit in the game other than Defiler. Like, you get upgrades like that, they just kill everything. They start trading efficiently against literally everything because they deal damage so quickly. Well, maybe not Reavers. But yeah, like, the fact that he's defending over here with a very anti-Zergling army, yeah, he's got a couple High Templars and some cannons as well, which he needs. But leaving some Archons and Zealots here and just saying, no, you're not breaking through this anymore with Zerglings. That isn't going to occur. You have to bring a bigger army. I really like that type of play. Defiler actually somehow wiggles its way up here. Going to throw a Plague down, but probably won't make it out. You know, I think we looked at this slightly, but didn't really mention he did take this base down at 6 o'clock. But yeah, I love seeing the Reavers out here. Plasma shields and Reaver damage on the way. Getting +3 plasma shields before +3 armor. Haven't seen that before. Maybe on BGH when you're going carrier. That's about it. But yeah, it looks like he is going to move out onto the map now, try to roam around a little bit. This army doesn't look that strong. I mean, it's an okay roaming army. You can kind of run around. Yeah, you want to kind of stay away from those big clumps of lurkers with this army. But yeah, it's spellcaster light, splash damage light. You know, only a couple High Templars. Yeah, he's got some Archons in there. But you can see that this just looks very good for Effort when he's plaguing it over and over. But Quickly has so many bases. He's got great upgrades. He's got Reavers being made. He's actually only got 2 Robos, and he's really only making Reavers out of this one. So, like, that base is super well fortified. And this one does have 3 High Templars with high energy, plus Cannon, Zealot, Archon. So, yeah, that one's well done, too. One thing we got to say is if Effort gets this base, it quickly is going to be dead. Like, he has got to be careful about that. Now, Effort continues to just fight all over the place. And I think it is kind of important for him to keep taking smaller engagements. Because once you actually get, like, a really strong massed Protoss army, where it's like, heavy Archon, heavy High Templar, and then you get some Reavers in there and then some Zealot Goon to kind of fill it out. When you get that type of army from Protos, its cost efficiency in battles goes through the roof against Zerg. So even though this is kind of a weird looking army, like getting in and just reducing the overall army size, you know, if you slow the game down at all, he'll probably get a much better composition together, a much better roaming army together. And in fact, he's keeping so much pressure on, he's kind of forcing effort into that as well. I love the fact that he's actually sent army down here. He needs it. Yeah, okay. Whew. Thought he got a hotkey error there where he accidentally pulled out the Zealots. Okay, so he is attacking that. That's really good. That's really, really important. He needs to kill that base off. And it looks like, oh, a little attack up here. Almost missed that. The Lurkers, yeah, it looks like the probes did get pulled. So the Lurkers didn't quite burrow in time to get that big, massive damage he was probably looking for. Continues to come up. That +3 plasma shields is so interesting to me, by the way. Obviously on Archons, this is the big exception to the rule. They like the plasma upgrades more than anything. Yeah, that is going to make them stronger too. And he is having a pretty high Archon count throughout this game. You know, later in the game, Hydras just aren't really that good. They're a very strong earlier game unit, but later game, and we've talked about this so many times, Ling, Lurker, Defiler is kind of what you want. So the Archons do become a bit stronger there because they don't really care about Plague, and they are very good against Zerglings. Now, Quickly is actually coming in with his Reavers. I tell you what, I'm liking Quickly late game here. I like the ideas he was showing us on Eclipse, and I really like how he's playing this game. Like, I feel like so many top Protoss players don't utilize the Reavers in the late game. Sometimes they'll use them defensively, but it's not that often that you see this, and I think that this is fantastic. He's going to lift up. Don't forget, Plague, obviously a huge counter to Reavers. Everything is super low on health there. He comes forward as the Hydra Ling comes out. See, he's just trying to snipe. This is why the Hydras are in there, is try to snipe these off a little bit with that ranged attack. Unable to do so, just gets one of the Reavers. So he will be able to kill this base. Plenty of Lings over here. He does have an observer watching it, so that's good. I'm just trying to keep an eye on bottom right because, of course, bottom right, that's like, if someone gets bottom right main, they'll probably end up winning. Obviously, Zerg, if they get it, it's just like, okay, that you can't get cost efficiency high enough to stop that many bases. If Quickly gets it, you add that into the type of cost efficiency that he's having, and it seems impossible for him to be able to lose that. By the way, the Plague grinding is absolutely insane this game. You know, Plague grind is so much of what Zerg late game is right now, both against Terran and against Protoss, is just Plague, 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 and you get all the units so low on health. But the +3 plasma shields, I feel like we're seeing a little bit of brilliance, you know? I keep finding reasons why I'm liking the +3 plasma shields more than the +3 armor over and over. Like, the +2 armor early is really, really good because you get it quickly and it helps out against pretty much everything in the early game, but especially against, like, possible Mutalisk sniping and things like that. But after that, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna get into a Plague game. So why not rush to +3 plasma shields from there? And it actually makes sense. It actually makes sense. I never thought of that. But yeah, once you get past the, we have, you know, Muta's sniping High Templars stage, the plasma shields are just going to become better because you get into Hive. Damn, all right, sick. Now, this little attack coming down gets completely intercepted, so this is going to be really not very good for Quickly. He's losing a lot of High Templars. He's going to try to pull these back. Doesn't have a lot up there. He makes this Nexus in the face of effort. And he's got, like, a lot of Archons, High Templars, a ton of Reavers coming down, like, even going across the ground themselves. Pretty insane to see. He does have that +25 damage. But yeah, this base is scary. The fact that he's taking this, like, you have to have a lot of defense, obviously, to hold this. Oh, that's actually really good that that got taken out. Well, he did use the Psy Storm anyways. Gonna have to bring your Zealots down to end up clearing the rest of this, I think. Dude. Oh my god. Just absolute meat grinder here. Absolute meat grinder. I want to see the kill count. That one had 14, right? I want to see the kill count on this one. Finish those scarabs already. A lot of drones being sent to bottom right. He definitely needs to take that out. Oh, only 13. Damn. 15, 15, 22, 5. Jeez. All right, some good Psy Storms going off. Bringing those High Templars up the ramp. Looks like they're going to probably end up dying before they can get another Psy Storm off. But he will be able to clear that one Lurker and get into the drone line. Oh, he goes after the Nidus first, of course. That makes perfect sense. And we'll be able to, well... Oh, he had an Observer here, but I guess that was taken out at some point. The Corsair rejoins the game. I didn't even know he still had one of those. But yeah, this one Lurker trying to save the day for this hatchery. I don't know if that's going to be a doable thing against all those Zealots. But now quickly is mining this base, and he's way up in supply. This is actually so crazy. So mined out, mined out, mined out, mined out. He's got one base here and one base here. And Effort is going to hit this base now since there's so much defense in the top left. Effort, by the way, only has 2 mining bases right now as well. Top left and 6 o'clock. So this is getting down to the wire. Effort is very, very low on supply right now. And if Quickly can save this Nexus, this feels like maybe one of the most crucial defenses in this game right now because Effort is running out of resources so quickly. So if Quickly simply stays on 2 base, well, I guess technically he has 3 base, right? Because he has this, he sent drones back here. But it feels like this is going to be where most action is. It seems to me like Effort's idea is we will try to keep the pressure here, and that will alleviate him pressuring here. And he might be right about that. He's actually... I wish he was on attack move there. His attack would have done much better. Oh, he's just right-clicked the Nexus. Okay, well, that makes sense. Cracklings versus building. Hello. Welcome. That's frustrating. Is there a world in which you can take this base and, like, have a zone defense here that blocks there? Maybe put your rallies here and have a zone defense here, and that'll block this Nexus, plus get you another mineral location? This is something I don't think anyone's ever even really thought about. This is such a weird position in this game. It's such a strange late game. But I feel like that might be good to keep this base going without having... It's so hard to run back and defend this base when you have to keep this many units up here. Oh, he's going Greater Spire. Oh, I love it. I love it. I think Guardians are one of the most underutilized units in the game right now. I think Guardians have a great spot in PvZ exactly for situations like this. Late game, when you get into like a more Reaver Archon, like super late game composition, Guardians can do so well. Oh, this is so sick. Look at this. He's attacking bottom right and he's crushing it. But I think top left is about to get crushed by the Guardians. If he just controls them right, spreads them out. So bottom right will get destroyed. I'm excited for these Guardians now. How many Psy Storms? So we have like 3 here, almost 3. And then just a few Dragoons. He needs... So notice he pulls this back. He needs to keep them spread. That's the main thing. As long as you keep them spread, you're going to be good. If you lose like 5 Guardians to 2 Storms, obviously you're going to lose that game. But yeah, he's doing a pretty darn good job of splitting it out. Actually making more now. More Guardians being made to try to break through. A great way to spend some of this late game gas. You know, sometimes you get like a lot of extra gas in late games. But I think massing up Guardians, and look at this arc of Guardians he's making. This is so crazy. A 360-degree Guardian flank. Just insane. Oh my god, and Quickly is trying so hard to hold on to this. He's going to rotate an army down, and yeah, Effort doesn't have a whole lot. His supply is super low at the moment. Look at this, the Archons and Dragoons trying their best here to take out the Guardians, but of course the Guardian pulled back. The Archon range is super low. The Plague on the Nexus, very smart. He's plagued just about everything. Pulls that Guardian out of the Psy Storm slightly. The army has been brought back up, maybe to try to challenge this area. The Lurkers are actually giving so much more respect. Like, Quickly's giving this position so much more respect. He could run up here. The thing is, everything's been plagued all to hell, so it doesn't take that many Lurker spikes to kill you. But, like, even if he removed one of these Lurkers, he could just shove his army up the ramp at this point, I think. And the thing is, you don't even need to necessarily save this base because you've mined it out. But, like, you want to attack this base, so it makes sense. Still some gas left over. He is retaking this base in the bottom right. Just non-stop. Dude, the Psystorms are going to win this game for Quickly. I think Quickly's actually going to take this game. Earlier on, I thought for sure Effort had this. But Quickly is putting out, like, an insanely good game. Honestly, sending down like 4 zerglings, you're going to cause a ton of scarabs to come out. Like, based on how low the economy gets, you might actually make the scarabs, you know, scarab is 15 minerals, a zergling is 25 minerals. So, like, if you can get 2 to shoot per zergling you send down, you're gaining value, technically. Things like that can come into play. Now, mass storms going down against these Lurkers, trying to get the defense up. A Nidus is coming up for that additional defense as well. These Archons going to be a bit of a problem. All right, pops out some Lurkers. He does have observers here, unfortunately. Okay, throws the Darkstorm down. Does throw the Plague down, but Plague does like 9 damage, 7 to 9 damage against Archons only. So it's like basically garbage. Like a Zergling attack does the same. Well, I guess with armor a little bit less, but still. The secondary Plague does literally nothing. See, Plague does damage by 3s. So you can end up at 1, 2, or 3 health with it. It just matters how much health you have when it starts. But yeah, it's, you know, the Archons are a real problem. Now, Archons can't actually hit the Lurkers under Dark Swarm if they're spread. Because you miss all the shots and it displaces the Archon shot in such a way that it's like a siege tank. Where the splash damage it has just does not hit the Lurker. Yeah, trying to utilize the Cracklings to trade with the Archons, and it's pretty close. Like, you can see he's getting the shields very low on some of these. 25 kills, 14, 6, 14. Okay, yeah. And he does throw the Darkstorm down, which, of course, you know, that's, again, preventing the main attack of the Archon, only splash being done. That's why he pulls back out of that Darkstorm. And we'll end up clearing that as well. Plague onto these Zealots. So little left over. It looks like the whole game is just around this base right now. Like, Effort just has to keep this up, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. GG is called. What an insane game. First off, Effort looks good. I like the style that he utilized. Yes, he ended up losing. I think Quickly is a weird match for someone who's just coming back because he's playing this very different style where he's so late game focused with Protos. So late game focused. He's not like trying to finish you. He's just trying to build into a good late game. Let me know what you guys think, both about Effort's play and Quickly's style that we're seeing. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope that you enjoyed. And we'll see you next time.